Alright, BobalosRex here. And today's video is a lore rant. Now, if you've never seen a lore rant video before, it's where I talk about some stuff in game, and then I rant about crazy lore stuff that I think. Alright, so this lore rant is about the WoW Multiverse. What it means, what time rifts mean, the different timelines, and how they work. And I'm gonna go over all the little collectible quests that you can get from the different timelines here. Now, one that people have found tricky is the Calaxy one. Some of these just drop all over the place from rares, so you want to fly around. When the portal opens, or just before, and look around for any dropped items. And then you want to look around the timeline itself. When you go in the portal, you want to look around there for the quest items until you get them all, if you're also trying to get them. But let's get into the lore. So we're going to start over here in the first table. The Amber Blade. The amber of this manted sword is dented and chipped along the blade. Some of these, this is my first time reading. It appears to be well used, if not maintained. Well, what use would the Black Empire have for weapons if they won against the Titans? Maybe Swordormy knows more. What can you tell me about this Black Empire timeline? Your guess is as good as mine, Rathalos. Since you fought creatures from that ill-fated realm, what do you suppose that Black Empire does when it is won? What does N'Zoth the Corruptor do after everything's been corrupted? That realm is full of faceless minions. What must it be like to live in terror forever? Even when surrounded by madness, societies typically form structures over time. I cannot imagine what it'd be like to live in that one. Yeah. We'll talk more about Askaroth. That's the timeline that one's from. Alright. And Askaroth is essentially Old Gods won. Titans never came to Azeroth. Old Gods took over. They win. Alright. Time Displace Titanic Device. Greetings, new watcher. Allow me to assist you in your daily duties. Please select one of the following options. What are my duties? As a new watcher, your duties will include tending the facilities in Azeroth. Oh, this comes from Ul'Daroth. Your qualifications are optimal for the task at hand, implementing the Titan's design for this world. Each day is an exciting day, new watcher. At any moment, you may experience another attack from the local wildlife. What creatures do I need to be aware of? As a watcher in the world of Azeroth, you should evaluate the status of all creatures, great and small. Please note, the larger creatures can and will attack, so additional vigilance in their proximity is strongly advised. So this is like the big life ordered world where the Titans won everything. If possible, scanning all objects within 1.4 miles should ensure you are not eaten, maimed, destroyed, or any combination thereof. Also note that this does not completely guarantee safety. If I have an issue, who can I talk to? Before the Titans left this world, they documented clear procedures for escalation with regards to most issues. So the Titans still left, but they completely ordered the world. Due to unanticipated aggression from local wildlife, some of these procedures are no longer available. Currently, the most effective method of escalation is raising your voice very loudly. This has a 0.5% success rate in summoning assistance. Please note, this may also summon additional deadly creatures to your location. This is essentially the Titans won, ordered the planet, no old gods, life just got to do whatever the hell it wanted. Interesting. Now, let's talk about... So that was Ul'Daroth and that was Askaroth. Now we got two items here from the timeline where the Fel took over Azarath, and we fight Illidan. Lord of Kalimdor. So it's essentially Illidan betrayed. Illidan completely betrayed. Legion 1. Boom. You still feel a sense of calm radiating off the skull, even after it was removed from his original timeline. If anything, it has even increased since then. Now that you have some time to sit and inspect, it's very clear this is the skull of Malfurion. Younger than he is now, for certain, his answers aren't developed. Rip Malfurion. But there's hope. Map to Suramar. So this map is given to you by a hidden elf that comes from that timeline. You look over the map given you by a member of the Resistance in Azarath. The map shows a similar shielded area to Suramar of your timeline. The coastline of the Broken Isles looks different, however, as if something gargantuan crushed the land around it. Sargeras. An X marks where to make contact with the Resistance. Sir Dormy, can I assist the Resistance on Azarath? No. Alright. Alright. Okay then. And now... So that's the Legion 1, the War of the Ancients. But there's still Suramar and Tyrande. Apparently went to Suramar. Maybe Illidan betrays because Tyrande never left Suramar. So Illidan kills his brother and joins the Legion. Interesting. Alright. Alright then. So now we're going to talk... So that was Azarath. We've seen some stuff from Uldaroth, and we've seen some stuff from Azkaroth. So let's look at a timeline called the Warlands, where the Alliance and Horde never teamed up and always fought. So essentially, you can honestly imagine this timeline where none of the events of World of Warcraft happened, pretty much. Other than orcs came over, and they've been fighting it. Ooh. So they would have never teamed up. So no, we don't team up for AQ, don't team up for NAC, none of that. So maybe none of that stuff happens. You know, they're never given incentive to team up, so we just keep fighting. Alright, so let's look at the oil-soaked logbook you get from the Varian, because you fight Varian, like an old Varian. So let's take a look at his journal. Much of this book is rendered useless by the oil soaking it. You can see snippets here and there, but it will take a lot of time to sift any meaning out of them. However, you're able to read the final entry. Ever since the portal opened in the Black Morass, we've been fighting the Horde. First they took Stormwind, destroyed it. Destroyed our people. Then we defeated a Black Rock Mountain. So, Warcraft 1 and Warcraft 2 happened. Tore their armies to Stretch and harried them until their accursed portal was destroyed. Then we had peace. Miserable, loathsome peace. People grew fat, indolent, boring. Parades were had with ribbons. Ribbons, why did they even exist? We threw their cursed orcs into camps instead of executing the way any reasonable person would. Finally, though, some action was had. A plague of undead started to rise, and the filthy orcs ran, as we knew they would, tails between their legs, and sailed across the ocean. Ooh. After the undead were stopped at Dalaran. Oh! The pathetic Alliance leadership countenance peace. Peace, ha! As if the Horde knows peace. As if they are not weaned on bloodshed and fed their young with the bones of their enemies. And so we rose as we needed to, as was right. We overthrew the weak Alliance leaders and chased the Horde across the sea. But too late. They had insinuated their ways into the land and spread across it like a parasite. They renamed themselves Blood Horde, fitting, given how easily they bleed. They chopped down the forest and dredged up the blessed oil to wage war. Foolishly, they wasted their resources trying to fight the great glorious Alliance. We cannot be beaten. We are the inheritors of the world. Its resources are ours, and we will always be victorious for the great glorious Alliance. Alright, I do want to see where the Night Elves were. So, Alliance had all of... The Scourge got stopped at Dalaran. Okay? They reformed. I guess the forest trolls, boom. Maybe stragglers got over. And high elves are a part of the alliance. Alright. So let's read the blood-soaked book. We are the walkers in the wastes. We are the madness that remains. All that was once good and pure has been boiled away. Goodness is weakness. Only the strong survive. This land is ours. The soil's toxic. The water is foul. Poisonous fumes roll across a desiccated wasteland. The land is dying, but this land is ours, and we will die to defend it. My body is beaten and broken and bleeding, yet I'm still standing. My quill is nearly dry, the ink is running out, and I'm surrounded by the corpses of those who dared to stand against me. This parchment is stained in blood and oil, but these words I tell you what we fight and die for. I will tell you, or die trying. Bow down and worship the mighty. Once a weak alliance tried to take from us. No one remembers how it started, for that was long ago. Yet we remember everything we lost, every atrocity, every grudge, every betrayal we remember. My parchment is soaked in oil and blood, and I'm surrounded by the corpses of those who dared to stand against me. When my ink bowl runs dry, I will write the words in the blood of my foes. They hit, we hit back. We hit, they hit back. We never forget and we never forgive. Our horde howls for their blood, feasting as we condemn the weak. They couldn't win against us, so they fought amongst themselves, blaming each other. Those who survived called themselves glorious, and they reformed what they called the Glorious Alliance. Okay, so the Alliance infought and formed the Glorious Alliance. Varian led that. And still we killed them, and still they lost. And the few who survived called themselves the Great and Glorious Alliance. And still we killed, and still they lost. And they took to the skies. They poisoned the land, our land. They looked down on us from their flying fortresses. They rained death from the skies. And still they could not kill us, for the strongest survived. We spilled the blood of the weak, for blood is what we seek. Blood, blood, blood. Dude, what if the Kaldorite joined the Horde? I don't know. I don't know what's up with this world. Witness my words, heroes of blood of the blood horde. We mask our faces and ride our machines through the poisonous lands. We ride where they will and kill as we please. The blood herd will stand on the mountain of their skulls. We will wade through an ocean of their blood, every drop spilled as a testament to our strength. Blood, my brothers, blood, my sisters, blood, all who dwell between. Blood, blood, blood. Blood for the blood god, apparently, dude. Scream at the hateful heavens. They hide in the skies, but they cannot hide from our sight. We take an eye for an eye, and what I can see, we need to take more eyes. Am I dying? Is this death? I can see the poison land we have conquered. The land is ours. We rule the wasteland. The war will not end. Not until there are no more eyes to witness. My death is nigh. Blood, blood, blood. The blood horde will avenge. Dude. The Warlands. That's wild to me. The Warlands is the only one not with as or some kind of like Roth in their name. Like all the other ones. And now they're like, the land is fucked. The Alliance and Horde fought so much that Azeroth is just covered in destroyed. Freaking poison the land, poison the water, freaking wild. Oh my god, that's wild. What a timeline, dude. Holy crap. The Warlands. Jeez. Alright, now a fish. We got a fish. This fish, bequeathed to you by Murloc you. Sora Dormi has put a temporal lock on it to prevent it from rotting. It's quite an incredible specimen. Its scales are perfect, completely unmarred. It is almost as if someone scooped a perfect fish out of a river with their bare hands. Dude. Murloc me is a great guy. That's from the Murloc timeline. The Murloc timeline plays exactly like ours, but it's all Murlocs. Maybe some minor adjustments, but it's all Murlocs. It's freaking cool. I like that timeline a lot. Oh, now we got an Azumarill Hourglass. Alright, this is a good one. So, Alexstrasza and the Murloc Alexstrasza talked, and they complimented each other's horns and stuff. It was kind of cool. This hourglass was given to you by Allurgastraz the Ergobla Lur, presumably Azumarill version of Alexstrasza. After she used it to pull herself into our timeline momentarily, Alexstrasza was able to communicate with her. It appears they are also beset by time rifts, and she wanted peace between our timelines. Alexstrasza accepted. Upon being pressed for additional information about the conversation, Alexstrasza relented and said that they complimented each other on their horns. Yep. That was cool. So that's the Murloc timeline. Asmerloth. Pretty cool timeline. Alright, now we're going to be getting into some more interesting stuff here. So, Asmorn's corrupted Ashbringer. The necromantic energies once present in the sword have been removed. You see a small note from Sora Dormy next to the weapon. After assisting in cleansing this sword, Baron Silver noted differences between this variant blade and our Ashbringer. Prior to the variant blade's redemption at the Battle of Light's Hope, it emanated more energy than our version. Quite disconcerting. We should definitely keep an eye on this timeline. Oh. More energy? Interesting. Interesting. Wait, so prior to the variant's blade's redemption, so this blade, okay, so we know the Asmorn timeline is the Lich King 1 at the top of Icecrown. So they still have it, so Tyrion cleansed the blade. But then oh no, maybe the necromantic. Interesting. So it still got cleansed, but then it got re-corrupted. Oh my god. Interesting. But yeah, it's essentially Asmorn is essentially Lich King 1. You see a Banshee Queen Verisa, which I'd assume, I'd imagine that the run away from the Lich King fight went differently. Sylvanas was killed, and then just everything started falling apart there. People were killed by Anubarak, but they still went off to Icecrown, and then the top people got myrtleized, and then the Lich King took over, corrupted Verisa, corrupted everybody. Lich King number 1. And little do we know, who's at the top of that timeline? The Jailer. Alright, moving on though. Asmorn, okay, Gilded Vase. So this is another item. You found this golden vase at the top of Icecrown in Ashmorn. Looking at its outside, you can tell it used to be intricately decorated. Time or something else has long since marred it with scrapes, scratches, and gouges along its surface, so you can't make them out. The urn is empty and its top is missing. Its inside is soot blackened. For such a poorly treated item, it was an odd find at the top of Icecrown, a place of prominence for the Lich King. I wonder if this is where he kept his heart there. Interesting. Alright. So, we've talked about a lot of timelines here. We have... I'll recap it later. So, Mechanized Cog. This is from Azeroth, the Mecha one, where it's all spelled out with dots. Where you fight King Mechagon. And it's essentially King Mechagon did his plan. Alright, essentially, Erasmus would have sided with him, and they mechanized the whole world. You look at the gear you pulled from a mechanized enemy. Given who and where you fought in the timeway, did King Mechagon's plan for the mech originator succeed? Was everyone transformed? We kind of visited this. Did everyone survive? Was it painful? Who or what are they still fighting that needs to develop more weapons? Is there a fully mechanized version of you in that timeline? Oh my god. Alright. Then we got... Okay, so this chipstone tablet is from Azeroth 2, the Void timeline. Oh, I'll get into that. The Old God timeline. The Old Gods 1. The script is unfamiliar, but you stare at it. Its meaning becomes known. The experience gives you a mild headache. We gave tribute today, as we do every day. The Ancient One continues its meditation. The hunger of the Ancient One must be sated. Strange day today. A familiar relation to our tribute ran up and asked to replace our intended sacrifice. Of course I thought they wanted the honor of pleasing the Ancient One. Yet when it gibbered and pleaded, it seemed as if it felt they should save our intended tribute. This perplexed me. The greatest honor of a tribute can have is its act of sacrifice. Naturally, we flayed the interloper's skin and presented it as an additional tribute, but its foolish gesture made me pause and think. Are tributes capable of higher thought? Do they possess their own desires? I know they are capable of language, and their cleverness makes them more effective at work than other animals, but should we regard them as more than brutish beasts? Any type of animal can communicate with its own kind, I suppose. Some just happen to meld the tongues to approximate our language. Such a clever trick. They do not speak it well, and they cannot grasp higher concept. But what if they could? Perhaps I will try to train one, as an experiment. After all, the pursuit of knowledge is its own reward. If nothing else, it will make for a unique tribute. Would it be selfless to keep its skin? Yet perhaps that would be too much. The hunger for the Ancient One must be sated. All glory to the Ancient One. Are they talking about... Who are they talking about? Yasharaj or another? Interesting. And I like how it feeds into your main like a head. It feeds into your head. The stone. Using the void. Alright, so now we got the Watcher's Log. Where did this come from? I think this came from Uldaroth as well. The hologram flickers occasionally in the light. Slightly chewed buttons covers its base. The item appears ancient and clearly no one has maintained it for a long time. Pressing a button pulls up a short bit of text. Species designate. Yongle. Content. A study of the species habitat and applied learning. Please select documentation to review. First button. Log numbers. According to records left by previous watchers, subject has been living in cave systems for generations. Subjects appear to have mastered basic tools and fires. Some appear to be in adult stage, which is impressive. Catch and release programs initiated for additional study. Alright, what are they going to do to the Tauren? The Yongle. Log numbers. Log 087731. Prior records indicate a previous watcher's interest in the species. Upon further investigation of information gathered, records indicate Yongles have an average lifespan of 20 years. These findings indicate the longest non-bestial lifespan found so far. Non-bestial, okay. Further studies of their ways could increase Watcher's lifespan significant. Watcher? Oh, okay. Third button. Log 088-572. This log was found beneath the wreckage of a previous Watcher. What are these Watchers? Investigation into its claims has yielded positive results. Initial studies suggest that adoption of the Yongle's run and hide in cave strategy has led to a 75% increase in local Watcher lifespan. We plan to find some way to transmit these findings to the larger Watcher community, assuming contact can be resumed. Interesting. Interesting. Fourth button. Log 088-637. Past records indicate a previous watcher's attempt to replicate Yongle defense mechanisms. While preliminary results were promising, continued testing resulted in a learned response from the local wildlife. Any prior gains were eliminated. Evidently, running and hiding in small caves was an important part of the tactic, attempting to modify watcher construction system to allow for smaller watchers in the future. Interesting. Interesting. So on Uldaroth, Yongle running around more. It looks like. Where the trolls at? Where the trolls at? Interesting. All right. We got through it all. So that was all the stuff from the time rifts, all the quest items that I read through. That gave me some very interesting knowledge. But let's get into what I wanted to talk about. So you heard about all the different timelines. We got Asmorn, which is essentially Scourge Win, Death number 1. Maybe homeboy at the top, Jailer, sitting pretty. Finally doing what he wanted to do. Alright? Oh, I'm just literally gonna put this out there. Because WoW has a multiverse, Hearthstone is canon. In the multiverse. No matter somewhere, Hearthstone is canon. Every story of Hearthstone is canon. Because of a multiverse now. I just wanted to put that out there. Because I love me Hearthstone. We have seen characters from Hearthstone be canon. But all the stories are now also canon. In the multiverse. Alright? Okay. Let's get into the rest of the timelines. The universes. You have Azarath, which is essentially Legion 1, Fel timeline, disorder everywhere, Sargeras, big demon in charge, Illidan ruling Kalimdor. Bada boom. Then you have Azeroth, King Mechagon's timeline. He essentially ordered mechanized the entire world. Alright? Then we have Uldaroth, the Titans. Maybe no old gods even landed on Azeroth, and the Titans had free reign to make a nice, safe Azeroth with all life doing all that it wants, and life surged, and you have all the native races living their life, and the Titans have their facilities where they observe, but even the Titans did end up leaving Azeroth still, so it's just the Watchers and the Titan Watchers. Very interesting. Very interesting timeline as well. Then we have Azmirloth, the Murloc timeline, similar to ours, Murlocs. Pretty cool timeline. Then you have Askaroth, the Old Gods 1 timeline. Old Gods took over. Maybe the Titans never showed up. And it's just Old Gods winning. And from some of the items, some of the creatures there just seem to be bored of all the chaos. They won. They gotta figure out stuff. They're questioning their society, which is very interesting. And then you have the final timeline, the Warlands, the only one without Az or Roth in the name, because the planet is literally destroyed by war between the Blood Horde and the Great Glorious Alliance. And essentially Warcraft 1 and 2 played out, but 3 went in an entirely different direction, and none of the expansions really happened. Wild timeline. What the Nelfs are doing, who knows? Now, I talked about all the timelines here. Okay? Here's my big crazy theory. Asmorn is the death. Azarath is the disorder. Azeroth, the mech one, is order. Order and mech. Uldaroth is life and order, but let's go with life. Askuroth, the old god one, is void. Now, Asmurloth doesn't seem like... So that's 5. That's 5 of the 6 cosmic forces. Death, disorder, order, life, and void. Okay? We're missing one. Light. Okay. Is Asmurloth the light timeline? No. Are the Warlands the light timeline? Don't seem like it. So what timeline is light? Did they just not have a light timeline? Probably. Or what other timeline do we have in Warcraft? Warlords of Draenor. The Warlords of Draenor timeline that we win in is the light timeline. That's my crazy theory. You heard it here first, folks. I'm going to explain that real quick. Yrel, after the events of Warlords of Draenor, Yrel went full light fanatic. Converted orcs to light, and that's how the Mag'har literally were chased off out of that timeline. It's the light timeline. Boom. Future Bobby proves it. Boom. Also, Murazan isn't dead. For sure. He's definitely gonna come back. Boom. Lore ran over. Y'all have a good day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.